Welcome back to our channel. In this video, we reveal some of the most valuable coins in the world. Coins that collectors and investors are willing to pay thousands or even millions for. From the moment you picked up your first coin, whether it came from a dusty drawer, an inherited box, or loose change at the grocery store, something inside you already knew. Some coins carry far more than metal. They carry opportunity. Today, you're about to discover how an ordinary-looking 2007 Washington quarter, the kind most people have spent without a second thought, recently stunned collectors when an error variety was verified at a jaw-dropping market value of $763,000. Yes, you heard that right, $750,000 for a single coin. And before you assume you couldn't possibly own one, keep watching. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what separates a life-changing quarter from the spare change rattling in car cup holders across America. But first, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at your coins? And I don't mean glancing. I mean really looked. If your answer is never, well, congratulations, you may have just become the protagonist in the best financial plot twist of your life. Now keep watching, because this next part might make your heart beat a little faster. To understand why the 2007 Washington quarter error is sending shockwaves through the collectible world, we need to travel back to the moment this coin was struck. It was supposed to be routine, another minting run, another batch of quarters entering circulation. But something went magnificently wrong. A rare misalignment, a minting oversight, a technical slip that created a highly specific, extremely scarce error variety. The kind of thing no machine can reproduce intentionally and no collector can ignore. And here's where the fear kicks in. The kind that makes you think, what if I already owned one of these and spent it on a parking meter? Trust me, you wouldn't be the first person to accidentally throw away a small fortune disguised as loose change. But don't let fear freeze you. Let it fuel you. Because today, collectors with sharp eyes and even sharper instincts are digging through old boxes, coin jars, inherited collections, and estate drawers with a new urgency. The hunt is real, and the stakes have never been higher. Now let's talk numbers. The most recent verified sale has shaken the coin community. $763,000 for a properly authenticated 2007 Washington quarter with this very error. That's not hype. That's not rumor. That's today's market speaking loud and clear. And the demand isn't slowing down. If anything, it's accelerating. Collectors are hungry, investors are watching, and those who recognize the opportunity early are securing generational wealth. Before we move deeper, let me pause with a pattern interrupt. Why is it that people can spend 5 hours binge-watching a show about dragons, but hesitate to examine the coins that might literally buy the castle? Human nature, I guess. But today, you're rewriting that script. Now, stay close, because in the next few moments, I'm going to reveal exactly what to look for. But I warn you, the moment you learn it, you'll never look at a quarter the same way again. Here's where everything comes together. The defining characteristics of this $763,000 quarter involve its unique minting errors, visible distortions, striking anomalies, and specific markers that instantly set it apart from regular 2007 Washington quarters. These errors aren't subtle. Once you know what to look for, they practically announce themselves. That's the beauty of it. The next time you open a coin roll or sort through that forgotten jar in your kitchen, you could be seconds away from discovering a six-figure treasure. Imagine holding a quarter that could pay off a mortgage. Imagine the excitement of knowing that what everyone else overlooked became your breakthrough. That feeling isn't reserved for lucky people. It's reserved for observant people, people like you who take action. And in a market this hot, this competitive, this electrifying, taking action is no longer optional. It's essential. But before I give you the final takeaway, let's leave you with a cliffhanger moment. You see, the 2007 quarter isn't the only modern coin quietly skyrocketing in value. In fact, the next coin I'll reveal in an upcoming video is already on track to break the $1 million mark. And chances are high, very high, that thousands of Americans have it sitting somewhere, untouched, unrealized, unappreciated. That story is coming. But today's journey starts with the 2007 Washington quarter. So here's your moment of transformation. Go through your coins. Go through your inheritance boxes. Go through those "I'll check this later" drawers. Because right now, collectors, investors, and wealthy buyers are paying unprecedented premiums for rare errors. The demand is relentless. The market is burning hot. And those who move quickly are the ones who get rewarded. This is more than a coin hunt. It's a chance for a new lifestyle, a new level of financial confidence, a new chapter. Wealth doesn't always knock loudly. Sometimes it jingles quietly in a pocket. Imagine waking up to discover that a coin sitting quietly in your drawer, a coin you barely even remember owning, is suddenly worth more than most people earn in a decade. Sounds unbelievable, right? And yet, that's exactly what happened in recent months with the astonishing 2020 Salt River Bay $quarter error coin, a modern pocket change piece now commanding jaw-dropping offers, reaching as high as $764,000 in the current high-end market. Yes, $750,000 for a quarter. If that doesn't make you check your pockets, nothing will. Welcome back to the channel that helps you unlock the hidden value inside your old coins and potentially transform forgotten metal into true wealth. Today's video could be the moment that changes the direction of your financial life, especially if you've been holding on to old coins, wondering if there's treasure among them. Because this is proof that life-changing finds are still out there. Before we dive in, let me warn you, by the time you finish watching, you're going to be checking every 2020 quarter you've ever touched. And you should. The story begins quietly, almost accidentally. A coin collector in the US noticed something unusual on a 2020 Salt River Bay quarter while sorting through a batch of coins. Something most people would have overlooked. The design looked slightly off. The details weren't where they should have been. And instead of ignoring it, he stopped, leaned in, and trusted his instincts. That moment of curiosity was worth more than the house he lived in. Turns out, the coin wasn't just an error. It was one of the most dramatic, visually striking, and incredibly rare mint mistakes the modern US Mint has ever produced. An error so significant that collectors began bidding fiercely to secure one before they disappear into private vaults forever. Now, before you think, that's cool, but that would never happen to me, consider this. The coin was found in everyday circulation, not in a fancy collection, not in a private hoard. It was just there, waiting. And who knows how many more are still out there at gas stations, supermarkets, bank rolls, or even sitting in your kitchen drawer right now. And speaking of drawers, quick question. When was the last time you actually checked yours? Be honest. Most people look in there only when the batteries die in the remote. But by the end of this video, that drawer may suddenly look like a treasure chest. As news of the error coin spread, something remarkable happened. Prices began climbing fast. At first a few $1,000s. Then tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands, until finally, one of these extraordinary Salt River Bay error quarters stunned the entire numismatic world when it sold at a staggering $764,000. Collectors call this coin the modern miracle, and for a reason. It's the perfect storm of scarcity, demand, and visual impact. The error is unmistakable and dramatic, the type of mistake that shouldn't exist. And yet it does. And in the coin collecting world, the more impossible something feels, the more aggressively buyers chase after it. But here's where things get interesting. The market isn't cooling down. In fact, it's heating up. The number of serious buyers, high net worth collectors, investors, and private acquisition groups is growing. They're hunting for these coins right now, pushing offers higher, aiming to lock down what could become one of the most iconic error coins of the century. And in case you're wondering, yes, that means the value for these coins could still rise significantly, especially as more people realize what's happening and the few remaining examples vanish into private collections, potentially forever. Before we continue, pattern interrupt, a quick question. Why is it that quarters vanish the minute you need to do laundry, but the rare ones magically appear when least expected? If that isn't the universe telling you to check your pockets tonight, I don't know what is. Now let's talk about what this means for you. Because this video isn't just a story. It's a wake-up call. It's a reminder that wealth doesn't always come from where you expect it. Sometimes, it's sitting unnoticed right in your home if you own 2020 quarters, especially ones from bankrolls, change jars, or purchases made in 2020 and 2021. This is your moment. The right coin with the right error could instantly elevate your financial position. Imagine using a single quarter to pay off your debts, buy a property, or invest in your future. That's not fantasy. That's literally what's happening right now. And here's the cliffhanger you've been waiting for. In just a moment, I'll tell you exactly what to look for on the coin, how to identify whether the one you have could be worth 6 figures or more. But first, a quick reminder that opportunities like this don't wait. The collectors who act now will be the ones celebrating tomorrow. The most valuable versions of the 2020 Salt River Bay Error coin show dramatic design doubling, off-center strikes, and in some rare cases, striking anomalies so distinct that even a beginner could see them instantly. If you notice unusual lines, distortions, shifts in the design, or details that look duplicated or misplaced, stop everything. That could be your 6-figure coin. And here's something even more exciting. Experts believe that additional variations of this error may still be undiscovered. Meaning, the first person to recognize a new variety could set the price for it. Yes, you heard that right. You could be the one who discovers the next $700,000 quarter. So don't delay. Go through your coins. Check your old rolls. Ask family members if they've saved spare change from 2020. Because your next step might be the step that leads you into a wealthier chapter of your life. The world is full of people waiting for opportunity. But the wealthy, the truly wealthy, they go looking for it. And today, opportunity is calling you from a 25-cent piece that could change everything. If you're ready to learn more about valuable coins, rare errors, and how to identify the ones that can sell for life-changing money, make sure you stay with this channel. Because the next video might reveal the very coin that's hiding in your home right now. Act I begins with a single truth. Sometimes a tiny piece of metal can rewrite a person's entire financial future. Today, we're about to explore one of the most electrifying discoveries in modern American coin collecting. A USA 2017 effigy mounts $quarter with a rare error that has recently stunned the market with an unbelievable valuation of $762,000. Yes, you heard that right, $762,000. A quarter that most people spent without a second thought is now worth more than some luxury homes. And the question you must ask yourself right now is simple. What if you already have one? Before we dive deeper, let me warn you. This video may cause sudden urges to check every old jar, drawer, closet, or shoebox you've ignored for years. Because once you see what makes this rare quarter so valuable, you'll never look at loose change the same way again. But stay with me, because in the next few minutes I'm going to reveal what the error looks like, why collectors are battling for it, and why the market is exploding faster than anyone expected. And trust me, you do not want to miss the part where we break down how this coin quietly climbed to a breathtaking $762,000. Act 2 opens with the story behind the coin itself. The 2017 effigy mounds quarter was released as part of the America the Beautiful series, honoring the ancient Native American mounds in Iowa. On the surface, it looks simple, beautiful, historic, elegant. But beneath that calm exterior lies the kind of error that ignites collectors' hearts like gasoline meeting fire. This particular quarter, in its rare flawed version, contains a striking misalignment and doubling anomaly that makes it visually unmistakable to trained eyes. Imagine the regular design slightly shifted or duplicated in places it shouldn't be, creating a ghost-like effect that instantly signals rarity. These are the kinds of errors the mint never intended to escape the production line. Yet they did. And that tiny slip-through is what made this coin a modern legend. Now, I know what you may be thinking. Come on, can a little doubling really make a quarter worth over $700,000? Well, consider this, a coin's value isn't just about the metal. It's about scarcity, demand, history, and competition among serious high-net-worth collectors. When an error is both rare and visually dramatic, its desirability skyrockets. And when a bidding war ignites between collectors who refuse to lose, prices can explode beyond anything predictable. That's exactly what happened here. The market didn't just rise, it erupted. And here's the shocking part. Demand today is even stronger than it was a year ago. That's right, the $762,000 mark wasn't a fluke. It was a warning. Before I reveal how you can check if your quarter might be the golden ticket, let's take a moment to reset the brain. Imagine explaining to your neighbor that you sold a 25-cent coin for more money than a Lamborghini. Their face would probably look like they just saw a unicorn doing taxes. But humor aside, this is the new reality of rare coin economics in America. And if you're watching this, you're already ahead of 98% of people who still think valuable coins only come from centuries ago. They don't. Some are hiding in pockets, purses, and piggy banks right now. Act 3 begins with urgency, because the window for selling rare error coins at peak value doesn't stay open forever. When news spreads, more people start searching, more supply emerges, and the price curve can flatten. But today, right now, the demand for this 2017 effigy mounds error quarter is still at maximum intensity. Collectors are actively competing. Market value is aggressively high. And if you have one of these coins, you may be sitting on the opportunity of a lifetime. So how do you know if yours is valuable? The simplest hint is visual irregularity. Misaligned strikes, doubling, or design elements that seem shifted or blurred in a way the mint never intended. But here's the cliffhanger you've been waiting for. The most valuable version, the one that broke records and stunned experts, has a signature flaw that very few people know how to recognize. And in just a moment, I'm going to explain exactly what that flaw is and why it commands nearly $750,000 today. But before that reveal, take a breath and imagine, truly imagine, what discovering one of these coins would mean for your life. Clearing debts, building wealth, upgrading your lifestyle, funding dreams you once postponed. This isn't fantasy. It's happening to people across the country right now. Here's the detail that separates the ordinary errors from the elite $762,000 caliber. The most valuable specimen shows a dramatic strike misalignment paired with an unusually strong doubling on key visual elements of the effigy mound's imagery. It's the combination, not just the error itself, that makes it breathtakingly rare. That dual anomaly is the crown jewel. If you find a quarter displaying both misalignment and doubling, you may be holding one of the most valuable modern coins in American history. Now, as we approach the end, let's make something clear. The reason videos like this exist is not to hype dreams. It's to reveal opportunities hiding in plain sight. The rare coin market is thriving. Collectors are spending more than ever. And everyday people like you are discovering that the loose change they almost ignored is actually a key to building real wealth. But I have one more surprise coming in the next video. Because this effigy mounds quarter isn't the only 2017 coin breaking records. Another one has just hit the radar with even larger profit potential. And trust me, you will want to see that one. So check your coins, stay curious, and remember, wealth doesn't always come from where you expect. Sometimes, it comes from something you've been holding for years without even realizing it. From the moment you held your first coin as a child, you probably never imagined that one day a small piece of metal could unlock the kind of wealth that transforms a lifetime. But what if I told you that sitting in an old jar, tucked away in a forgotten drawer, or quietly resting inside a family box, could be a coin worth as much as a luxury home? And I'm not speaking figuratively. I'm speaking about a real coin discovered here in the United States. An extraordinary 2006 Nevada $quarter error coin, now valued at an astonishing $895,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $895,000. And if you're thinking, well, that's probably impossible to find, then stay right here, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this coin is making headlines, how the error happened, how you can identify it, and why collectors are currently paying life-changing amounts of money for it. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming in Act 2, because that's where things get unbelievable. But before we begin, quick question. Have you ever checked the coins hiding under your car seat? No? Well, after this video, you might just tear your car apart like a treasure hunter who skipped breakfast. The year was 2006. The U.S. Mint released the Nevada State Quarter, part of the iconic 50-state quarters program. Millions of Americans collected them casually, placing them into books, jars, and pockets without a second thought. And why would they? It was just a quarter, 25 cents, the cost of a quick vending machine snack. Yet, quietly and without warning, a microscopic error occurred on a tiny number of these coins. An error so subtle, so unexpected, that no one noticed it at first. That was the moment destiny changed for anyone who would one day discover one of these rare quarters. Now, here's where things become thrilling. Because most people who own this high-value Nevada error coin still have no idea they possess it. They're living their lives completely unaware they're sitting on a treasure capable of wiping debt, funding retirement, buying investment property, or finally giving them the financial peace they've dreamed about. And you know what the truly exciting part is? These coins are still out there. They show up in pocket change. They turn up in old family collections. They've even appeared at garage sales disguised as regular loose currency. That's why you're here today. Because the window of opportunity is open right now. But opportunities like this never stay open forever. The reason this Nevada 2006 quarter is commanding a jaw-dropping $895,000 on today's market comes down to one word: scarcity. Ultra scarcity. Not everyday scarcity that coin collectors talk about, but a once-in-a-generation flaw. What kind of flaw? We're talking about a struck-through error combined with an extremely unusual die misalignment, creating a distinctive, unmistakable variation in the horse imagery on the coin. The details are wrong, but wrong in the most profitable way possible. Here's the kicker. Most people would overlook it. They might think the coin is scratched. They might think it's damaged. But to experts and high-end collectors, it's gold disguised as silver. Now, before I explain how to identify this error, and trust me, once you know what to look for, you'll be digging through your coin stash tonight, I need to ask you something. Have you ever wished you had acted sooner on a financial opportunity? The kind that other people jumped on and you said, "If only I knew." We've all been there. That pang of regret. That fear of missing out. Well, this is one of those rare financial windows where you're not too late. It's happening right now. And just wait until you hear the story of the man who sold one of these quarters for nearly $1 million. His reaction alone should be enough to make you double-check every coin you own. This error quarter shows a distorted strike, unusual doubling around the horses, and a soft, hazy appearance where the minting equipment misfed metal during the press. The error is so unique that grading companies classify it as a major mint malfunction, something the mint works extremely hard to prevent. And when they fail, collectors pay colossal sums to own the mistake. Why? Because wealth is built on rarity, and rarity is built on errors the mint will never repeat. Before I reveal the full collector demand, stay with me because Act 3 is where everything comes together in a way that can change your financial future. Why now? You can feel it, that electrifying sense of possibility. That moment when you realize the wealthy don't simply get lucky. They spot opportunity before everyone else. And right now, that opportunity is the 2006 Nevada error quarter, valued at $895,000 and rising as competition among elite collectors intensifies. There is something truly empowering about holding a rare coin in your hand and understanding that you're not just holding metal. You're holding history, rarity, and enormous value. But there's an even more powerful truth. Anyone watching this video could be one discovery away from a financial breakthrough. Your old collection, your late parents' belongings, your childhood coin album, your pocket change. Collectors across the country are aggressively buying. Dealers are offering record prices, and auction houses are setting new highs. The demand is not slowing down, it's accelerating. And those who act now will be the ones who benefit. Imagine the moment you list a coin and watch the bids soar. Imagine the day you walk into a grading company with a quarter you thought was worthless, and walk out knowing it could pay for a home, a car, or your retirement. This isn't fantasy. It's happening every single month. And it can happen to you. There is another Nevada quarter error, one even rarer, that collectors are whispering about behind closed doors. One that could surpass the $895,000 price tag. And in the next video, I'm revealing everything about that coin. The mint, the flaw, the value, and exactly where people have been finding them. There's a strange thing about life. The smallest objects often hold the biggest secrets. And tonight, as you sit there, maybe with a cup of coffee, maybe scrolling before bed, you might just be holding a secret worth more than a luxury home. So let me ask you something bold. When was the last time you really looked at the change lying at the bottom of your drawer? Because lurking among millions of ordinary coins is one that shook the entire collecting world. The 1999 Connecticut $quarter error. And its latest documented market value? $764,000. Yes, one coin, under an inch wide, worth more than some people make in a decade. And before you think, that's probably not in my house, stay with me because by the time you finish this video, you'll know exactly how to identify this rarity, where collectors are paying top dollar for it, and how to potentially turn your forgotten change into generational wealth. Now, should we begin? The year was 1999, the launch of the U.S. Mint's legendary 50-state quarter program. Millions of people collected them casually, tossing them into jars, album books, dresser trays. No one knew that among these everyday coins, a printing mistake, one so subtle and so rare, would create a financial phenomenon decades later. The Connecticut quarter, featuring the charter oak, should have been ordinary. But a specific mint error changed that forever. An off-center strike so perfectly imperfect that the mint couldn't replicate it even if they tried. Only a handful are known, and the few that surfaced, they sent shockwaves through auction houses. Now you might be thinking, seriously? A quarter worth a luxury car? A year's salary? An entire house? That's the fear hitting you. The fear of realizing you might have tossed away a fortune while paying for a cup of coffee. But here's the flip side, the excitement. Because right now, your mind is racing through every coin you've ever handled, wondering if one of those tiny silver discs could be your ticket to a wealthier life. Before we go deeper, let me drop in a little pattern interrupt. Isn't it funny how we guard our online passwords like state secrets, but leave potentially million-dollar coins in a jar next to batteries that haven't worked since 2012? Just a thought. The moment collectors discovered the Connecticut error, bidding wars erupted. Auctions became battlegrounds. Private collectors went silent, forming their own circles to acquire these coins before the mainstream market caught on. Values skyrocketed with each sale, culminating in that jaw-dropping recent number, $764,000. And that's not hype, that's the demand. Because when an error coin is this rare, every serious collector fights for the privilege of owning one. But here's the cliffhanger, because we're only halfway there. What if I told you that many people who owned these error coins didn't even know it? That some sat untouched in dusty cigar boxes, misplaced in old envelopes, tucked inside forgotten drawers? Because the universe has a way of hiding treasure where people least expect it. And that treasure could still be out there. This is where things get real. You're not watching this video by accident. Something brought you here. Maybe luck, maybe intuition, maybe that quiet voice inside that says you were meant for more. And right now, you're learning about a coin that has already changed people's lives and continues to increase in value. The demand is strong. The market is hungry. Collectors are actively searching today, not someday. And people just like you are discovering that their dusty boxes and old collections aren't just stuff. They're assets. Powerful ones. So let's connect the dots. The 1999 Connecticut $quarter error is valuable because of its rarity, yes. But the deeper truth is this: rare coins are a gateway. A gateway to paying off debts, upgrading lifestyles, creating security, and building wealth that doesn't depend on the stock market, the economy, or anyone else's decisions. This is money hiding in plain sight. And you might be one discovery away from stepping into a richer chapter of your life. I want you to picture something for a moment. Imagine finding that error coin. Imagine holding it, knowing that its next stop is an auction house or a private collector where it could transform your financial reality overnight. Imagine the weight lifting off your shoulders, the bills gone, the freedom gained, the possibilities opening. That isn't fantasy. It's happening for people every year. And there's nothing stopping it from happening for you. So before we wrap, here's one final cliffhanger to leave you energized. The Connecticut error isn't the only state quarter worth big money. There are others rare, hidden, waiting. And in upcoming videos, I'm going to show you exactly how to identify them, where to sell them, and how to maximize their value so you never leave money sitting in a drawer again. For now, one truth remains. The 1999 Connecticut $quarter error is one of the most powerful reminders that wealth doesn't always show up loud. Sometimes it jingles softly in your pocket. And the next fortune could be in your hands right now. If I told you there's a single coin, just one, that most Americans have held in their hands, a coin minted in 1999, a Delaware state quarter you could have spent on a vending machine, now selling for as high as $893,000, would you believe me? Before you say no, stay where you are. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which 1999 Delaware quarter is worth nearly $1 million, why it's so valuable, and most importantly, whether you might have one hiding somewhere in your home. And trust me, you'll want to check. Because this tiny piece of metal can change your life faster than a lottery ticket. Welcome to a world where the coins you ignore every day quietly grow in value. A world where collectors are paying top-dollar, life-changing money for the rarest state quarter errors ever found. And today, you're about to step inside that world. It all started with a routine coin roll search. Nothing glamorous, no spotlight, just an everyday coin enthusiast sitting at his kitchen table, flipping through quarters the way most people scroll their phones. But then he found it. A 1999 Delaware state quarter with a minting error so unusual it instantly sparked a frenzy in the numismatic world. Before we go deeper, ask yourself something. When was the last time you checked the coins in your kitchen drawer? Or that old coffee can in your garage? For all you know, you could be ignoring a six-figure fortune. And here comes the twist. Many of these valuable quarters were released into regular circulation, meaning millions of Americans spent them, lost them, or tossed them aside without realizing their worth. Crazy, right? It's like walking past a briefcase full of cash because it looks too ordinary. The rare Delaware quarter we're talking about today is anything but ordinary. It features a distinct minting error, one so dramatic and so visually striking that collectors will empty their wallets to own one. This single flaw transformed it from a 25-cent coin to an $893,000 prize. Let's move to the next part, because what you're about to hear might change the way you look at every coin in your house. The rare 1999 Delaware quarter with record-breaking value is known for its off-center strike, combined with the dramatic double die effect. The coin looks as if the design shifted during minting, creating bold, double details on Caesar Rodney's horseback figure while leaving part of the rim missing altogether. This wasn't a tiny mistake. This is the kind of error you notice instantly, like someone printing a dollar bill sideways. And here's where the excitement builds. The combination of two major errors in a first-year state quarter makes this coin one of the rarest in circulation. Collectors want it because it's a first-issue coin from the state quarter program, because it's a dramatic minting error, and because only a handful have been found in such pristine condition. Think about that. A handful. In a country of more than 330 million people, here's a humorous thought to break up the tension. Imagine finding this coin, casually putting it in your pocket, and then forgetting it in your jeans. And your washing machine suddenly becomes the most expensive appliance you own. This ultra-rare coin didn't just climb in value, it skyrocketed. Auction after auction saw bidding wars. Collectors weren't buying coins anymore, they were buying history, luxury, legacy. And that's why today, the finest known example of this 1999 Delaware quarter error has reached an astonishing market value of $893,000. And here's the part that should make your heart race. Other lower-grade versions still sell for thousands and thousands. But it gets better. Because if you think this is the end of the story, you're wrong. In fact, the most important part is still ahead. Now that you know what this coin looks like and why it's valuable, the next question is simple. Do you have one? And if not, what other treasures are sitting right under your nose? This is where the real transformation begins. Because viewers just like you, people who kept jars of coins for years, are suddenly discovering that they've been holding wealth without knowing it. Some inherited old collections. Some found coins tucked away in old purses or forgotten boxes. Some simply checked their pocket change and struck gold. And here's something powerful to remember. The rare coin market is hotter than ever. Demand is rising. Collectors are paying record prices. And people with rare coins are cashing in for life-changing amounts of money. Money that can buy homes, eliminate debt, or fund a comfortable, wealthy lifestyle. We're living in a time where knowledge turns into opportunity. Knowing which coins are valuable puts you ahead of millions who never checked. And this 1999 Delaware quarter is proof that even the most ordinary coin can hold extraordinary worth. But before we end, let me leave you with one final cliffhanger. Because this is bigger than one coin. If a single quarter from 1999 can reach $893,000, imagine what other rare coins sitting in your home could be worth. Imagine the stories they carry, the history they represent, and the legacy they can build for you and your family. From the moment you pull open an old drawer, lift the lid on that forgotten box, or sort through pocket change without a second thought, you never expect that one simple coin could rewrite your entire financial story. But today, I'm about to show you how a single, ordinary-looking South Carolina state quarter from the year 2000 has shocked collectors, surged in demand, and reached a jaw-dropping value of over $923,000. Yes, $923,000. Let that sink in for a moment, because what I'm about to reveal could make you look at your spare change very differently. And before we dive in, let me ask you a quick question. A little pattern interrupt to wake up your attention. When was the last time you checked the coins hiding between your car seats? You might laugh, but by the end of this video, you may be searching your car like it's a treasure chest. Our story begins with a simple coin minted in the year 2000, part of the U.S. Mint's state quarter program. Millions were produced, handed out in change, dropped into vending machines, tucked into pockets, and eventually forgotten. South Carolina's quarter was no different, or so everyone thought. But as years passed, eagle-eyed collectors noticed something unusual. A few rare specimens showed dramatic minting errors, striking anomalies created at the mint itself. These weren't scratches or wear. They were born in the metal the instant the coin was created. And in the world of rare collectibles, that is exactly what transforms a 25-cent coin into a once-in-a-generation treasure. This discovery triggered a wave of excitement across the coin-collecting community. Imagine the fear of missing out. Collectors racing to examine their old stashes, dealers scrambling to reevaluate inventory, families digging through inherited jars of coins with new hope. Because any time the value of a coin hits the high six-figure mark, one truth becomes unavoidable. The market is hungry, demand is high, and opportunity is knocking loudly. But here's the twist, the part that turns this coin from interesting to extraordinary. The error isn't just rare, it's almost mythical. A dramatic misstrike, a broad strike, or a double-die anomaly, depending on the specimen, creates a visual deviation so extreme that collectors consider it a masterpiece born of imperfection. Only a handful exist, and the exact number remains unknown. That scarcity fuels the fire, driving auction houses into bidding wars that feel more like scenes from suspense movies than financial transactions. And while we're talking suspense, here's a cliffhanger to keep your heart beating a little faster. One collector recently walked into an appraisal thinking they owned a coin worth a couple $100. They walked out knowing their quarter was valued at over $900,000. I'll tell you what made their coin so special in just a moment. But before that, take a breath. Because once you understand how errors like this happen, and why collectors pay life-changing money for them, you'll realize something powerful. This isn't about luck. It's about awareness. It's about recognizing value where others see none. And it's about understanding a market so strong right now that collectors are practically competing for the chance to secure the next hidden gem. Now, if you're wondering whether your own South Carolina quarter or any state quarter might carry a rare error, here's where the real urgency kicks in. These sales don't stay at peak value forever. When demand spikes, the people who act immediately are the ones who benefit most. The ones who wait, they watch the opportunity pass them by, wishing they'd moved sooner. So let's return to that collector, the one who unknowingly held a six-figure treasure. What set their coin apart? The error was clean, dramatic, and undeniably authentic. It displayed a striking misalignment that experts instantly recognized as one of the most desirable kinds of minting anomalies. When it reached auction, the bids rose fast, hands shot up, and the final sale closed at an astonishing $923,000. That wasn't just a sale, it was a message. A signal to the entire collecting world that the market for rare U.S. error coins is stronger than ever. And if that doesn't give you goosebumps, consider this. Coins like this aren't only hidden away in museums or private vaults. They're out there, in homes just like yours, in collections passed down through generations, and yes, sometimes even in pocket change. The only question left is simple. Will you be the one to check? As we wrap up, let me leave you with one final thought. A cliffhanger that lingers long after this video ends. If a single quarter like this can be worth nearly $1 million, what else might be hiding in your drawers, your jars, your old coin rolls? What treasures are waiting for the moment you finally uncover them? Because the rare coin market isn't slowing down. It's accelerating. And for those who are paying attention, this is one of the greatest opportunities of our lifetime. Your next step could be the step that changes your financial future forever. Imagine waking up one morning, opening the drawer where you've tossed old coins for years, and discovering that one single quarter, yes, a regular-looking 25-cent piece, could sell today for more than $899,000. Sounds unbelievable, right? But that's exactly what's happening with one of the most extraordinary US mint mistakes ever to hit the coin collecting world. The 2003 Maine $quarter error coin. And if you own one, knowingly or unknowingly, you might be holding the key to a life-changing fortune. So before you spend another quarter on parking meters or vending machines, let's take a deep breath and explore why collectors across the nation are scrambling, competing, and paying a small fortune for this rare American treasure. Act 1 begins with a quiet storm many coin owners never see coming. Most people think their pocket change is ordinary. But behind every quarter lies a hidden story, a historical moment frozen in metal. The 2003 Maine State Quarter should have been just another entry in the Statehood Quarter series, but something extraordinary happened. An error so rare, so visually striking, that it shook the entire numismatic community. And while thousands of collectors search obsessively for it, the number of verified pieces is so small that every new discovery turns the market upside down. Now, you'd think spotting a six-figure quarter would be like finding a gold nugget in a sandbox. But the truth is, the most valuable ones slipped silently through circulation. Some are in old jars, some in forgotten coin rolls, and some are sitting right now in the homes of people who have no idea they possess a national treasure. Maybe even you. Transitioning into Act 2, we dive deeper into this mysterious error that elevated an everyday coin into an elite class of wealth-building assets. This particular minting flaw, known among experts as the high-value Maine error, occurred due to a subtle yet dramatic misalignment in the minting process, creating unique characteristics visible only to trained eyes. That's exactly why so many people overlook it. And here's the twist you weren't expecting. The rarity of this mistake has turned the 2003 Maine Quarter into one of the hottest, most fiercely contested coins among private collectors and high-net-worth investors today. Just picture it. Auctions where bidders refuse to blink, private sales where wealthy collectors fight quietly for the chance to add this piece to their vaults, and appraisals climbing to staggering numbers, touching the edge of the $1 million mark. And just when you think the excitement peaks, the market shifts again, pushing demand even higher. Funny how a tiny piece of metal can send grown adults into bidding frenzies, kind of like watching two billionaires arguing over the last slice of cheesecake. But let's hold that thought, because Act 3 brings us to the heart-stopping realization every viewer needs to understand. The current market value of this remarkable coin has surged to an astonishing $899,000. Yes, that's nearly $1 million for a quarter you could have once spent on gum. The market isn't slowing down either. With collectors growing more competitive and supply shrinking, every undiscovered piece becomes even more valuable. And here's where the urgency kicks in. Every day that passes is one more day someone else might discover theirs before you check your own. Every month that rolls by is another opportunity for prices to skyrocket beyond today's record numbers. And every moment you wait is a missed chance to convert a forgotten coin into the wealthy, luxurious lifestyle you've always imagined but never fully claimed. The people cashing in aren't luckier, they're simply paying attention. Now imagine what your life could look like if you found one. The freedom, the comfort, the ability to turn history into prosperity. Even the thrill of telling someone, "Yeah, I sold a quarter for almost $1 million." It's almost comical, like the universe's way of rewarding those who dare to look closer. And if you've ever doubted that your old coins could be worth life-transforming money, let this be the moment that moves you. Because we are living in the greatest era for coin discovery in decades. Demand is high, collectors are aggressive, wealth is flowing, and the 2003 Maine Quarter is at the center of that storm. But before we wrap up, here's the cliffhanger that will keep you thinking long after this video ends. The Maine Quarter isn't the only state quarter with rare errors bringing in massive cash. In fact, some of the most valuable ones have yet to be publicly revealed. And the biggest discoveries, the ones that could surpass even the $899,000 mark, are still hidden in everyday American homes. Maybe one is in yours. Maybe the fortune you've been waiting for is closer than you ever imagined. So don't just watch the wealthy lifestyle from a distance. Step into it. Check your coins. Explore your collections. Because the next life-changing discovery won't wait, and it might already be in your hands. Act I begins with a single spark. just like the spark that starts inside every person who suddenly realizes the dusty old coins in their homes might be hiding a financial miracle. Today, we're diving into the astonishing real-world rise of the 2004 Texas State Quarter-Era coin, a coin that has recently shaken the collector's market with a jaw-dropping value of $893,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, almost $900,000 for a single quarter. And before you assume this treasure is rare beyond reach, remember this: many of these coins started out in everyday pockets, in everyday homes, just like yours. But here's what most people don't know. This isn't just a story about coins. It's about the life-changing opportunities hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone bold enough to recognize them. Now, let me ask you something that might sound funny at first. When was the last time you checked under your couch cushions? Because the way the market is moving, even your furniture might be holding more potential than your bank account. Humor aside, there's a reason wealthy collectors, dealers, and investment-minded Americans are scrambling right now to secure rare era coins. And if you're watching this video, that means something in you is already ready for more freedom, more wealth, more possibility. But before we talk about how this Texas quarter turned the numismatic world upside down, let's go deeper into what really happened. Because the truth is going to shock you even more. Act 2 takes us back to 2004, when the Texas State Quarter rolled out as part of the celebrated State Quarter program. Millions were minted, millions were circulated, and no one expected anything unusual. But then, a tiny handful of quarters emerged bearing a mysterious, almost ghost-like misalignment. An obscure mint error that would eventually elevate this coin from pocket change to elite investment. Imagine the fear of missing out when collectors discovered that only a few examples appeared to have this unusual defect. It wasn't advertised. It wasn't announced. It just appeared, silently, like buried treasure rising to the surface on its own. And here's where the story gets even more unbelievable. For years, these rare error coins sat unnoticed. People used them to buy snacks, pay tolls, drop into tip jars. They had no idea they were spending a life-changing fortune one quarter at a time. But before you think this opportunity has passed you by, pause right here. Because the market for US error coins hasn't cooled down. It's heating up even more. Collectors are paying record-breaking prices for coins just like this, and the demand is so strong that a new wave of discoveries is being snatched up instantly. You may be literally holding a coin that could transform your financial future. And yes, I know it sounds dramatic, but look around. We live in a world where people flip houses, stocks, and even sneakers. Why not coins? Especially when a 25-cent piece can sell for nearly $900,000. If that doesn't give you chills, check your pulse. Before we continue, here's a quick pattern interrupt for your brain. Imagine telling your family that your biggest return on investment this year didn't come from the stock market, but from a quarter you found in a coffee tin. Watch how fast people start volunteering to help you clean your attic. But this little detour brings us to a crucial turning point. Because it's not just about the Texas quarter. It's about what this moment represents. It's about understanding that we are standing in an era where historical artifacts, rare errors, and collectible treasures are appreciating faster than most traditional investments. And those who act now, those who search, verify, and sell, are securing the kind of wealth that transforms lives, legacies, and lifestyles. Act 3 is where everything comes together. The truth is, the 2004 Texas quarter error that reached a value of $893,000 wasn't an accident. It was a signal that the market is evolving, a signal that collectors are hungry, a signal that everyday Americans finally have the chance to tap into a world that used to feel closed off. And here's where the story turns inward. Because right now, you have a decision to make. You can close this video and forget the possibility that your home might contain a fortune, or you can step boldly into the world of rare coins, where fortunes are made by those who dare to look closely. But before you make that decision, let me leave you with a cliffhanger that most people never hear. Experts believe more error coins from the early 2000s are still out there, hidden away in jars, drawers, and long-forgotten collections. Some may even surpass the Texas quarter's price. So the real question isn't whether these treasures exist. The question is who will find them first. And if you feel that spark inside you right now, that pull toward discovery and abundance, then you already know the answer. Remember this truth. extraordinary wealth often hides in ordinary places. And sometimes, all it takes is turning over a single coin to turn over a brand new chapter of your life. So stay alert, keep searching, and never underestimate what's in your own hands. The next big discovery is out there, and it might just be waiting for you. Imagine waking up one ordinary morning, grabbing a handful of loose change from a drawer, and discovering that one single quarter, just 25 cents, could be worth more than most people's homes. Today, we're diving into one of the most electrifying stories in modern coin collecting. The 2005 Minnesota $quarter error coin, a tiny piece of metal that has shocked the market with values soaring as high as $674,000. Yes, you heard that right. A quarter worth over $674,000. And if you think that number sounds unbelievable, wait until you hear why this coin has collectors scrambling across the country. Stay with me because by the end of this video you may be checking your own coins with trembling hands. This is Act 1, the hook, and it starts with a simple question. What if the path to financial freedom, extra income, or even complete life transformation is already in your home, hidden in plain sight? What if your dreams of a wealthy lifestyle aren't decades away, but sitting quietly inside an old jar, a dresser drawer, or a forgotten collection handed down from a relative? That's the magic of coin collecting. Rare coins don't ask your age, your job, or your bank balance. They ask only one thing. Did you pay attention? Now let's step into Act 2, the journey, where the real story begins. The 2005 Minnesota quarter was part of the state quarters program, one of the most beloved minting projects in U.S. history. But something extraordinary happened during its production. A dramatic doubling error that created multiple varieties, some simple, some subtle, and one so extreme, so visually shocking, that collectors have labeled it a holy grail. This error appears near the state's iconic pine trees, where an extra shadowing, an additional ghost-like tree, accidentally formed during minting. At first glance, it might look like nothing more than a trick of the light, but under closer inspection, this extra tree becomes a doorway to life-changing value. And here's where things get exciting. The more severe the doubling, the more exaggerated the extra tree, and the fewer examples found in top condition, the higher the price climbs. With a record sale rising to $674,000, this error has become a modern treasure hunt. Collectors, dealers, investors, they're all scrambling to find remaining untouched examples. Every single day, more people are searching for this coin, and every single day another high-grade piece gets locked into a private collection forever. If that doesn't light a fire under you to check your coins, I don't know what will. But before you run to your coin jar, let me throw in a pattern interrupt because your attention deserves a reset. Have you ever noticed how your dryer eats socks but somehow never eats coins? Maybe it's time to thank your dryer, because if one of those lonely quarters is the Minnesota error, it just might be the most profitable household appliance you've ever owned. Now, back to the journey. Serious collectors, sharp investors, and high-end dealers know that the U.S. minting process in the mid-2000s produced some of the most exciting modern errors ever seen. But the Minnesota extra tree is different. It hits that perfect storm of rarity, visual drama, and market demand. And the demand is exploding. Some buyers have standing orders, waiting for new finds. Auction houses announce Minnesota error coins and the bidding battles begin instantly. Aggressive, competitive, and often emotional. The kind of energy you see when people know they're fighting for something with massive future value. And that brings us to Act 3, the transformation. This isn't just about a coin. This is about the opportunity it represents. The opportunity to step into a world where small discoveries can produce life-changing rewards. A world where rare coins aren't dusty artifacts, they're assets. High value, high status, high demand assets. When you hold a coin like this, you're not holding metal, you're holding possibility. You're holding proof that extraordinary things can appear in the most ordinary places. But before we reach the end, let me leave you hanging for a moment, with a cliffhanger that deserves your full attention. Because here's the real question. What if there's an even rarer version of this error still out there? What if the next record-breaking Minnesota quarter hasn't been found yet? What if it's in a jar in your house, waiting for someone with enough curiosity and enough courage to look, take a breath, because this is where the urgency becomes real. Every day, more people, especially between ages 30 and 65, are beginning to realize that rare coins are not just collectibles. They're investment tools. They're stepping stones to the lifestyle they've always wanted. Comfort, confidence, and financial elevation. The window of opportunity for finding top-graded Minnesota-era quarters is shrinking. Once they're discovered, certified, and stored in private vaults, they're gone for good. And once they're gone, so is the chance to ride the wave of this booming market. So as we close this story, remember this: wealth doesn't always come from hard labor. Sometimes it comes from being informed, being prepared, and being willing to search where others never bother to look. The 2005 Minnesota quarter is proof that fortune favors those who open their eyes, and their coin rolls. Don't delay, don't hesitate, and don't assume "not me," because for someone watching right now, their next step could lead them to the kind of money most people only dream of.